What is going on YouTube? Savage here. Hope you're having a good day and I hope that you're enjoying Warzone 2. With Warzone 2 coming out, a lot of changes, a lot of good, a lot of bad, and a lot of ugly, and we're going to be going in depth in all three of those categories. If you do enjoy the video or learn something new, make sure you subscribe to the channel today, leave a like on the video. But without any further ado, all right, so far Warzone 2 has been a hell of an experience to say the least. It's kind of a love-hate relationship for me, and I think for everyone as well. A lot of changes, a lot of good, a lot of bad. And we're gonna start off, of course, with the positives and slowly work to the negatives. Real quick, just a quick summary for those of you that don't know me. So far, I've got about 8 hours in Warzone 2. I've got 9 wins. We would have had 12, but we DC'd 3 times. So we have a little bit of experience. I've gotten my hands on this game. I've gotten in depth with it. And I think I've been able to break it down relatively well. Now, these are just my opinions. And I do enjoy Warzone 2. So when I hit the negatives, I don't want you guys thinking that it's just all doom and gloom, because it's not. It's a great foundation. But first, let's go ahead and start with the good and start this video off on a positive note. The weapons are actually a lot of fun to use. I know there's a lot more recoil. I know we haven't learned the meta yet, but there's a blessing with having guns that actually have recoil, especially when it's unpredictable recoil. It's almost a little bit more realistic, a little less boring. I felt like in Warzone 1 with every gun that there was, you just point and shoot. And if you had the meta build, there was really no recoil control, especially as a mouse and keyboard player. I enjoy pulling down and trying to control recoil. It's just part of being a mouse and keyboard player, especially for my Counter-Strike days. So I do enjoy the weapons in this game so far. Now, who knows, maybe eventually once Jay guy starts posting some videos, we'll have these meta builds that are just beamers, but right now it's actually a lot of fun. 2, ground loot is actually viable. Not only is it viable, it's pretty lethal. There's a lot of times I haven't been able to get my loadout and we're actually able to win with ground loot weapons, mostly because TTK is really fast and basically almost every gun can 3 or 4 hit somebody to death, especially point blank. But regardless, ground loot is viable. So if you guys cannot grab your loadout for whatever reason, if you do not have your guns leveled up from multiplayer grind for whatever reason, you don't have that pressure to have to get your loadout right now. Again, as things change and metas are discovered, that might change. This video might not age well, but right now on release date, on the day 2, that's how it stands. 3, the map is gorgeous. My God, you know, I'm probably one of the most pessimistic Call of Duty creators out there. I'm very harsh on Activision, very harsh on the devs. A lot of you guys know that. I'm very critical because I do believe if you make X amount of money in a video game, I want to see improvements. The sad fact that we had 2 maps and only 2 maps throughout all of Warzone 1 was a little disappointing, especially with Caldera being the second map. But this map is gorgeous. It's almost like they've separated the map in different sectors, which is different biomes. So when you go to a different part of the map, it feels like a whole new area. The downtown is just beautiful. And honestly, it didn't give me PTSD from Warzone 1's downtown. It was actually relatively easy to fight in. Multiple access to roofs. Of course, you have the helicopters, you can get to the rooftops. And there really wasn't many people camping. I felt like a lot of people are in exploration mode, so we really didn't run into any campers downtown. There are a lot of campers, but at least not in the skyscrapers. So overall, the map, I gotta give it a 10 out of 10. It is beautiful, even in areas that are like desolate, where there's just nothing. The terrain is developed so beautifully that if the circle ends there, or you need to rotate through that area, you do have terrain and ridges and rocks and hills and things like that to utilize for cover and concealment. And as you guys know from the channel, I love tactics. I love being very strategic. It's something that I did in real life. It's something that I enjoy doing in video games. So I'm very happy with the terrain and how it was designed. 4, vehicles are actually fun to use. I do enjoy the massive helicopter, the idea of going inside of it, being able to get in the driver's seat, fly it up, and then get out of the seat and still navigate the inside of the chopper, being able to shoot out of the doors and stuff while it's on autopilot and hovering above the map is just gold. I didn't see many people doing this, but I promise you this will bring a lot of content and a lot of fun memories for you guys out there. I will say one of the negatives, I know we're not on negatives yet, but one of the negatives about the vehicles, just talking about them, is the fact that every time you land the chopper, it does take a significant amount of damage. So those of you out there that love to splat people with choppers, or even just love to do recon strats with choppers or whatever, it's gonna be a little bit more difficult, at least right now, until we learn how to fly these things efficiently, until it gets buffed, whatever the case is. But overall, vehicles are a lot of fun, especially the electric Hummer. Now 5, let's talk about building layouts. I actually love the idea of how the buildings are laid out. 1, The building layouts and all of the things around the buildings create this verticality. Being able to mantle and climb up things has added a value to the game that we never had in Warzone 1. If people are camping, let's say the second floor to window, not only do you have drill charges you can contest them with, but you don't have to go up the staircase. You can most of the time climb through the second story window by vaulting on a fence, by vaulting on a vehicle, by whatever the case is, or a ladder on the back side. They really went in depth with trying to find a way to be able to outplay campers. This map is definitely camper friendly, but if you guys utilize a little bit of brain power, a little bit of patience, most of the time you can't outplay campers. Next up, I really want to harp on map design, but not just the design of the map, but how they designed it for circle rotations. Usually in Verdansk and Caldera, if you were forced to navigate out of an area and cross an open field, you were basically done for no matter what. With the design of this map, yes, you have streets you have to cross and you're vulnerable, but it's very, very short amount of time. Not to mention there's usually blown up cars and things like that. So most of the time, whenever you're forced to rotate into a bad area, it's not necessarily a bad area because of, again, the terrain, the ridges, the blown up vehicles, the buildings, random just stones and fences sitting out there. It's very, very possible for you to get yourself out of a bad position and get into a better position. This map was definitely designed with a more tactical mindset in mind, and it definitely shows. I absolutely love it. I cannot wait to give you guys breakdowns and tips and tricks on actual tactics. That way you guys can get out there, develop a better tactical mindset, and get a lot more wins. Again, with the exception of the disconnects, we literally won 9 games, lost 5, just using basic tactics. I'm going to be posting my first win ever over here on the channel, probably sometime tomorrow or the next day, and just showing you guys why we were able to win just based off my comms, based off my strategy, and just our teamwork in general. If you guys are interested in in-depth breakdowns and getting into the tactical mindset, make sure you guys leave a like on the video and don't forget to subscribe to the channel to keep up to date with that. All right, let's go ahead into the bad, and then we're gonna touch on the ugly. Now the bad, there is a lot, and again, I don't wanna seem like a pessimist. I have a lot of hope for Warzone 2. Again, they developed it great. I have no hate towards the devs or anyone over there. However, I do think that they should have tested this game a little bit more, and I do think a lot of this is a little inexcusable. All right, first one, not too crazy. A lot of you guys probably like it. I don't. Some buy stations only allow you, and maybe all buy stations only allow you to buy 1 UAV. At least that's from our experience. I don't know if there are multiple there and other teams came through and bought one, and every time we went to the buy, just left us with one. That's kind of a vibe kill, especially when we're doing objectives and we have like 20, 30 grand. We already have our loadout. Like we would like to buy some UAVs, especially in a map that's a lot slower paced, and people are dying off quickly. I want to be able to have a UAV to find out where the enemies are. Please, in my opinion, buff the amount of UAVs we can buy at the buy station. Now, a lot of you guys out there probably enjoy the fact that you can play the game without a bunch of sweat lords coming down your throat, killing you, and then moving on, right? So a lot of you guys probably prefer it, but honestly, in my opinion, I wish we could buy more than just 1 UAV at the buy station. The fact that it's limited, huge negative for me. 2, now I didn't test this, so let me know in the comment section if I'm right or wrong, but I feel like the UAV doesn't last as long. I feel like it just comes and it goes and that's it. Whereas before we could have UAV, we could actually chase down the enemy, get to the enemy, kill the enemy with that UAV still up. Now it's like the UAV swoops a few times, and as we start to move out, the enemies are just basically gone and the UAV is gone. Now that might just be bad time management for me since it's a brand new game and I'm like in a whole different vibe and mindset. But again, let me know in the comment section below if I'm right or wrong about the UAV timer. I need to test that out before I start talking shit. Now, 3 of the bad is gonna be split circles. I actually was a fan of this idea, and I'm still slickside a fan of this idea. I think it just needs to be done differently. So I've realized whenever this zone does split into 3 different circles, everyone just freezes up. The player count barely goes down. Everyone just kind of hunkers down and waits for the next zone. Mid game is usually always the slower part of a battle royale in any BR, but this really just kind of hinders it greatly. Next time you guys are playing all Mazrah, just pay attention when the zone splits into 3 circles, how many players actually died throughout the entire time. 2 circles, it felt like people were dying a little bit faster. 3 was just way too slow. And even with the 2 circles, I do think it's a lot slower gameplay. Now, how can they fix this? I think speeding up the circle speed, speeding up the circle timer would definitely have a huge impact. I'm not sure how long these matches are. I really haven't been timing it either. But I think if they sped up the circles just a little bit and cut down the match time by like 3 or 4 minutes, we would be perfectly fine with that. And we'd get a lot faster paced gameplay without being too overly done. 4, Teammates' names. If I'm on one side of the wall and my teammate's on the other side of the wall, just please put a little dot above him, a little colored dot, whatever color he is. I can't tell you how many times my teammates died because I was on one side of the wall. They saw an enemy with my name above him because I was on the other side of the enemy, so they didn't shoot. It happened to my teammates a lot. Didn't happen to me, but I was witnessing it from my teammates. I was hearing their gripes. I was hearing their bitches. But guys, once again, let me know in the comments if your teammate's name was distracting enough for you to die to another player because they just happened to be lined up like a solar eclipse. 5. You know, we're going to touch on looting a lot, but one of the biggest things was whenever I wanted to pick up a weapon, it seemed like I had to drop one of my weapons in order to pick one up. If I only had 2 guns and I didn't have a big backpack for a 3rd weapon, only 2 guns, I actually had to drop one of my primaries or my secondary to pick up whatever gun I wanted. The looting needs to be a lot more fluid. A lot of times I died, my teammates died, and I killed other players who were just focusing on loot too much. Y'all know from Warzone 1 and my tips and tricks videos then, do not live by the loot, get in, get out, and move on. The moment you get in a fight, other players will hear you, they'll rotate to you. So the fact that looting is just an absolute chaos, especially swapping guns, just a huge negative and just ruins the entire flow, and it costs a lot of people their lives in the game. Number 6, I'm gonna say walking slow while plating. And this is debatable for sure, and let me know in the comments once again y'all's mindset on this, because I'd like to know from a normal player's mindset, not just from a sweaty player's mindset who just lives and breathes this game all damn day. Do you guys like the fact that you slow down when you play? And here's my reasoning for not liking it. I think that if a player has you cracked, if an enemy cracks your plates, normally he's going to push you. If you don't have time to actually pop your plates and reposition, he's just going to close the gap because he's running faster. He's going to close the gap and he's going to kill you before you have a chance to outplay the enemy. It's a huge negative to me. I think it causes a lot of just one-sided fights. I don't like it at all. Please, in my opinion, change it back to where we can at least keep movement speed while we play. It's bad enough they already nerfed the movement speed, which, by the way, I do not hate. I'm fine with no slide canceling, no B hopping. It's okay. But they've already nerfed it drastically, and just to take it that one extra step while plating, I think it's just a little too much. Let me know in the comments if you guys agree, disagree, and if you do disagree, just give me your reasoning, man. This is open conversation for everybody out there. I'm genuinely curious to know all of y'all's opinion. All right, now let's go ahead and talk about the ugly. And boy, I might go on some rants here. We already talked about the looting, but let's really talk about the looting. So I haven't played this game on controller yet. I took the first day just to experience on mouse and key. I'll dabble on controller today, tomorrow, and next day to really get a good feel for how you controller players are having to loot. But mouse and keyboard, oh my gosh. Okay, so let's start from the basics. 1, mouse and keyboard players. When you open up your bag, what do you hit? You hit the tab button. I wish it was like PUBG to where you had the option to either hold or toggle that tab. The reason why is if I'm holding tab, I'd like to be able to click and let go of tab and have my bag disappear. But I'm forced to, if I tab and hit my bag and it just pops up and I just let go and it's still up, I'm forced to move my hands and hit escape twice in order to back out. Again, when you're in loot and someone starts shooting, you don't want to have to just hit a bunch of buttons to back out the bag. I want to be able to hold the button, and while I'm holding it, be able to navigate. And once I let go of that button, the bag goes away. Give us the option to toggle or hold, pretty please. Secondly, I'd like the option of drag and drop. Again, going back to PUBG, this is basic stuff. Mouse and keyboard players, you know the struggle. Having to like hit R to drop half and drop a weapon, stop it. Just let me drag and drop and throw items in and out of my bag if I please. It's a lot easier, it's a lot more fluid. And I know right now your controller players are like, Savage over here bitching, he's got a whole arm. Look, again, I play controller too. I have a right to gripe about both. But as a mouse and keyboard player, it would make our lives a lot easier. It'd be a quality of life thing. We'd be able to get in and out. I don't know if you controller players have that option as well, but if you don't, give it to them too. Again, still on loot. A lot of times I'm trying to loot a backpack and I can't pick up the backpack. I see a backpack, I click the backpack, it won't pick it up. I have to back away, go close, back away, go close, and finally it'll pop up and I can pick it up. And again, too much time in loot causes you to die most of the time. And this isn't just backpacks, this is guns, this is ammo, this is plate boxes, this is every piece of loot. It's weird. It's almost like the loot's kind of under the map a little bit, just slightly. You can't see that it's under the map. It looks like it's on top, but like the hit box is under the map, so you can't pick it up half the time. Again, massive problem. I don't know if they had these issues in the beta. I don't know if they had these issues in the COD Next event, but I feel like they should have tested this game, period. This game doesn't feel like it was tested just because of the way the looting is. There's no way the looting's this bad, and they actually said they tested this game. Second, the servers. Holy crap, this was actually wild. So I was going from streamer to streamer trying to find out if they were having the same problem we were, and a lot of times they were, a lot of times they weren't. I realized that not only are the servers chalk for everyone, but in certain areas of this country, my area, my teammates' areas, certain areas of this country, for some reason, it would connect us to servers nowhere near us. I mean, I live in Alabama, my teammates live in North Carolina, Indiana, Texas, California, and we were getting lobbies with a ping of 160, not once, not twice, literally the entire day, to the point where we actually had to geo-filter to our state, to our area, to get a decent server. And we have that luxury of geo-filter because we have that type of router. A lot of you guys don't. And if you were having that problem too, you're kind of SOL. Having 160 ping in Warzone was playable. It wasn't bad at all, but for some reason having 160 ping in this game, choppy as hell. I mean, this was absolutely unplayable. I don't know what's going on with these servers. There's always been a rumor that these servers are the same servers from MW2 back in 2008, 2009, whenever the hell it released. And it definitely feels like that. We need to get better servers. We need to get better tick rate. It just needs to be done. All right, y'all made a lot of money. Just invest in better servers, please. And just once you do it, you don't have to do it again for another 20 years, right? Just do it once, one and done. Let's get better service, get better connection. Let's just get better gameplay, please. 3, TTK. Again, debatable. A lot of people like it, a lot of people hate it. I, for one, hate it. I think it's way too fast. It's always been Call of Duty's nature to lower TTK as Call of Duty goes on. Blackout was higher than Warzone. Warzone was higher than Warzone 2. And Warzone 3 is probably hardcore. You're gonna get looked at and you're gonna die before the bullet even hits you. TTK is way too fast and also way too inconsistent. A lot of times people are shooting me and it's pop, 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 pop. Then my armor plates crack and then I die. Then sometimes they'll be shooting me with the same gun at further range. 1, 2, I'm dead. It doesn't really make too much sense. I don't really understand it, but it's vice versa as well. From my standpoint, when I'm going in to kill an enemy, a lot of times I'll hit them twice, they'll die. Sometimes I'll hit them with a whole mag, they'll walk away. A little inconsistency, especially with sniping. A lot of people are like, snipers need to be one-tap headshot. I got a lot of one-hit headshots with the sniper rifle. A lot of guys that I would assume are pretty plated up because of the range that they were at. But a lot of other people are saying, no, it's like a 2 or 3 hit headshot. So again, a little inconsistency there. I do think the hit reg is really well made in this game. I think it's a lot better hit reg than it was in Warzone 1. And again, a lot of debate right there. I'm sure someone's gonna slay me for that comment. But my experience for what I've seen, when I actually hit the enemy, damage is done. Again, the damage may be inconsistent, but at least damage was done. Warzone 1, it seemed like I'd put a whole mag dead center mass into him and I'd get 2 hit markers. So I like the fact that hit reg is a lot better in this game. But again, dude, when it comes to TTK and consistency of the damage, please, a little bit better. Just a little bit better. And to be honest, it feels like your base health is fine. It feels like your plates don't do shit. So all they need to do, and what they probably will do, like they did in Warzone 1, like they did in Blackout, is just buff the plates a little bit. I think, I don't know what health system they're on right now, to be honest, but I'd say if they tripled the plates, that'd be a great place to start, and you could always dumb it back down. Tripling might be a little too excessive, but again, I would love to see that, especially with guns that have a little bit more recoil, especially with the fact you don't have movement. You can't just break away. You can dolphin dive out the way, but a lot of times you're out in the open, so having a little bit more health would allow all players, even bot players, average players, sweat players, would give them all an option to break away, reconvene, think about what the hell's going on, and then again go back into the fight. All right, 4, audio is garbage. Whoa, what are you doing, bro? Look, during the alpha and the beta or whatever the hell we played, the footsteps were awesome. They were amazing, and you know, I had a lot of streamers, a lot of content creators were like, it's too loud, turn it down, and they did. Thanks a lot, guys. Thanks a lot. Remember, guys, when y'all are out there wondering why there's no footsteps, remember all the people on Twitter, all these content creators that are like, they're too loud. The footsteps are not only low, most of the time they're non-existent, and people aren't popping daddy. You just can't hear anything. Also, with going to the audio, 2 things. 1, I don't know about y'all, but I have to balance my audio all the time throughout each and every match. The beginning of the match, the plane is rattling my ears. I feel like I'm going deaf, so I turn it down. Then when I land and I'm walking around, I can't hear gunshots. I can't hear footsteps at all, so I crank it all the way back up. Then someone throws a grenade, and I feel like I'm actually in World War III, and my eardrum blows out. I understand realism. I get it. That's a video game, man. This is like just a little, just tone it down. Just a little bit. Please. I said please a lot. I'm trying to be really nice, so hopefully they do some shit. Come on, just a little rework right there. Again, please. 5, inviting your friends. What? You can't invite your friends easily in a game that requires friends to play with? Come on, man. Again, tested. It needs to be tested. They had this problem at the last event, and still y'all released the game. No hate. I know there's a lot of y'all's play right now. I know we're coming at your throats. But come on, man. You know, bad servers, fine. Bad audio, fine. Bad TTK, fine. Whatever. At least let me play with my homies. I streamed for 8 hours yesterday. I was on the game for 8 hours. We played 13 matches. 14 matches. My math is bad. Technically, we played 17 matches, but 3 of them DC'd at the end of the game. 3rd place, 2nd place, and we were about to win. We spent more time, and the reason why I said all that, how many matches we played, the whole time I was playing, we spent more time inviting each other to games, trying to figure it out, than we did actually playing the game. Especially, God forbid, one of us DC, then we got to disband the voice party, go back. I mean, it is just atrocious. It's embarrassing, and it needs to be fixed. That, like, before anything is fixed and patched, that needs to be fixed first and foremost. We can all deal with, you know, sucking. We can all deal with bad gameplay, bad servers. We can all deal with it, but not being able to play with our friends efficiently, that needs to be fixed first and foremost, in my opinion. Let me know in the comment section if you guys had the same issue as well, or if I'm just freaking crazy. Game crashes. All right, lastly, optimization, game crashes, and graphics. Now, console players, I don't know about you guys, so let me know in the comment section below, but hold on. We've been dealing with game crashes since the beginning of Warzone 1, and to be fair, it's the only game to ever crash on me. I've played every game you can think of on my PC, and never before has any of them ever crashed just because. I've gotten more dev errors yesterday in one day than I've gotten combined in 20 years of mouse and keyboard experience. And again, this has been an issue since Warzone 1, so I don't know why that is, and it might not be Activision's fault. There's a good chance it could be NVIDIA drivers' fault. It could be a lot of things, but again, the weird part is none of my other games crash. Overwatch doesn't crash. It's a Battle.net game. It's a Blizzard game. It's an Activision game. It doesn't crash. So why does Warzone and Warzone 2 crash consistently? Not even just Warzone, Modern Warfare, and Modern Warfare 2. Doesn't make sense. I don't know why. And again, there's really no transparency with them to us, telling us, hey guys, we're aware of the problem, we're trying to fix it, this is what we think it is. It's very strange to me they don't have a good PR team out there at least communicating with us so that we can have a little bit of hope. I mean, at this point, I'd rather you just lie to me, at least say something. I don't think it's an issue that's ever going to be fixed. 2, the fact that with 3080s and 4080s and 4090s and 4090 Ti's and all these badass graphics cards that we have, why are we forced to turn our game graphics all the way down just to crank out these frames? And if you have a 3080 like I do, I don't have a 4080 yet. If you have a 3080, you know, we're rocking 150 frames with dog shit graphics. It's bad. And console players, you're like, here they go again, all these PC players bitching. Look, again, y'all had things to bitch about. We ain't hate on y'all. We agreed with y'all. 120 FOV. That was ridiculous. Y'all didn't have it. Let us gripe too. This is our gripe. This is our moment. 3080 should be able to crank out at 200 frames with at least medium to high graphic settings across the board. The fact that anything's ever turned to low, off, or very low, again, to me, is just unforgivable. It's ugly. It's nasty. It's just atrocious. Now, again, we started off on a positive vibe. We went slowly to a negative vibe, but let's finish this video off on a high note. All in all, I think this game has a solid foundation. I think this is going to be a great BR. Right now, in my opinion, after about 5-6 hours, I do get a little bit bored with it just because it's not high octane gameplay. But again, it's early on. We're all trying to learn. Everyone's in exploration mode. Eventually, once your goats like J God comes out with build videos and things like that, we might have a little bit better time, a little bit more aggression. But for now, it's a little slow and gets a little stale over time. Overall, I gotta give it a 6 out of 10, 7 out of 10 at best. I started the day at 7 out of 10, and towards the end of the day, I went down to a 6. Again, just because of the issues we were having, just because of everything that we listed through this video. Great foundation. I think with a few changes and updates, they could bump this thing to easily to a 9 out of 10, maybe even hit the 10 out of 10. I like slower gameplay. I'm a former PUBG player. I was top 10 in the world for a long time. I've been in many tournaments in PUBG. And also on top of that, I had over 2,000 wins in a little over a year. So I love slower gameplay. I know it's a little bit of a flex, but I'm just telling you guys, I have experience with slower BR. So I like that. I'm not bitching because it's slower. I'm just talking from a general mindset for not just me, but all players that I've talked to so far. I do think this is a great game. I think it'll be even better. I'm really hopeful and optimistic for the future. Infinity Ward does a great job. They did a great job with the campaign. They did a beautiful job with this map. This map's a 10 out of 10, easily. Best BR map I think I've ever played. Beautiful, gorgeous, fun to navigate, fun to look at. The vehicles are awesome. Just overall, solid foundation. Again, I can't stress that enough. 6 out of 10, but again, I really believe if they put their attention in the right spots, this could slay all the competition and get to a 9 out of 10 for sure. But again, guys, this was just my humble opinion. Let me know in the comment section without attacking me what you guys think, and let's have a little discussion throughout the comments on what the pros and cons are, because a lot of people agree, a lot of people disagree, and I want to know what's on your mind. But guys, again, thank y'all for watching. If you enjoyed it, leave a like on the video, subscribe today. But until next time, man, y'all have a good one, and good luck in Warzone 2.